So the free agent pool looks bad. It looks like the market's going to be awful. The pool of players is actually pretty decent. The market looks like it's going to be bad. Everyone got their qualifying offer declined, besides 6 players. And a reminder, qualifying offer works as such. If you are a free agent, your contract is up, and you're leaving the team. Let's use Trevor Bauer as an example, because I was going to do DJ, but people complain we always talk about the Yankees too much. Trevor Bauer, free agent, leaving the Cincinnati Reds. Cincinnati Reds offer him the qualifying offer. What's that, you mean? It's the average salary of the top 150?
125.
125 players in MLB. The average salary of a top 125 player, which this year is $19.8 million.
18.9.
18.9. I was close.
Yep.
So, 1-year deal for that number. Now, if the player accepts that because he thinks he can't get better on the open market, cool. They shake hands. They come back. 1-year deal. If he does not accept that because he wants to go test free agency and see if he can get more years and more money, he wants to get wine and dined and told how great he is by all these different franchises, he declines the qualifying offer, and that means a draft pick is now attached to him, and whoever signs Trevor Bauer has to basically give one of their draft picks to the Reds. Do we know anything about the round or draft pick or anything like that? Compensation pick?
It's a compensation round, so it's in between the first and the second round.
Okay.
Yeah, there's different rules.
Well, I think there's a couple different. It could be a second rounder type.
If your team is a top third worst team in the league, you don't have to sacrifice your pick, and there's a couple other complicated.
Okay, but that's the
They
base.
changed the rules in the last 2 years too, so I forget exactly what.
Does the draft even exist anymore?
For an example of when this came to fruition, the Yankees offered Nick Swisher the qualifying offer after his 4-year contract was up. He declined it. He went to the Indians. The Indians? He went to the Indians. The Indians had to give a draft pick to the Yankees. The Yankees drafted Aaron Judge with that pick.
God, always Yankees.
Always Yankees. That's the only one I know. If you think I know an example of qualifying offer decline and draft pick result from any other team, you're out of your mind.
I mean, they're all over the place. I'd like to get had a specific reference, but that happens a lot. So that's
I know what happens.
This is a big deal. It's a big deal for teams to extend it. It's a big deal when a player declines it. The team's very happy.
Mm-hmm. Another example. Okay.
Here we go.
Keuchel was offered a qualifying after the 2018 season. He declined it, thinking he can go make a ton more money on the open market. Turns out people didn't think his value was worth losing a draft pick, so Keuchel didn't get signed until mid-June or mid-July when that draft pick wasn't attached to him anymore, and he got a very late start to the season, and he got picked up by the White Sox.
And
Braves that year.
Braves that year. Then he
White Sox.
You can only get the qualifying offer once, so that's why DJ LeMahieu's actually getting it now. He didn't get it from the Rockies when he originally hit free agency. So these other guys, that becomes part of the thing, and I think the number one example, and I think we want to talk about this, Jimmy's got a nice little segment for us, but it becomes really interesting for someone, and I think the number one name you have to circle is Marcus Stroman. If Marcus Stroman got offered the qualifying offer this year, which means he could accept it, make $18.9 million and then hit free agency next year. So if he pitched good this year, he could clean up and look pretty good.
And there's no draft pick attached to him because you can
He's
only
already
get the qualifying offer once.
Or he declines it and he risks going into free agency, which, hey, there's definitely a world where Marcus Stroman could probably get a nice 3-4-year contract. You start factoring in some of the COVID stuff, blah, blah, blah. Or if you look back at that Keuchel example, it starts to become a dangerous game. And I think the other name that should be mentioned right now, Trev, is your guy from last year, Odo. I don't want to say he got screwed by it, but a little bit. He accepted the qualifying offer. He bet on himself, and then in this weird shortened year, he's got some injuries and stuff where if Odo hit the market last year, I mean, he probably gets 3 years, 50, 45. I don't know. I'm not the numbers guy here, but he accepts it, and now he hits free agency this year, and it's more likely he's going to take, maybe a 1-year chance on himself or a 2-year taster type deal. So there's some info.